Wow, that was really interesting. Especially for it being the first of its kind, which is a movie centered around Thanksgiving themed. What are your opinions on it?
Well, I think for Thanksgiving, especially, it's a weird time of the year. It's not quite Halloween. It's not quite Christmas. It's also the only thing Americans do, and basing a entire slasher horror movie around that holiday is very interesting to say the least, because you are taking a small demographic out of 8 billion people in the world. You're taking only 300 million in the US, because only the US does Thanksgiving, which I find really interesting. But it will be cool to see if they can execute this and make this a worldwide profiting box office film.
Yeah, so if we actually take a look at the kills, like you guys already commented about the gore, which has a lot of it, especially from one of the kills that we saw in the trailer, which was when the killer dumped the girl or the woman into the water, and then he slammed her against the freezer, and then she had to peel herself off of the freezer, which was, I mean,
Very
if
brutal
you
to say the
just
least.
put yourself in that moment and how your flesh is peeling off of that frozen door, it's there are obviously like newer generation aspect of it, which is um how the whole group is involved in this um target targeted group, which they are targeted because they are mentioned in an Instagram story, and it's not just like random, and that gives it like that new generation or like Gen Z
Mhm.
generation. Also, we got Addison Ray in here, which obviously TikTok.
Um,
Um,
Failure. Yeah. No, it's weird to see, because we, yeah, as you said, Addison Ray in a movie. I don't think it's going to impact it that much, to be quite honest, because it's not based around her like in her first appearance acting. She's got a little bit of a role, but I think it's going to be such a big problem. Well, not problem. Well, such a big character or role.
yeah. And actually, a really cool thing about this movie, it's actually based on a clip in another movie. So the director, I believe, made a film. I think it was the first Terrifier movie or the short film before Terrifier was made into a production. Um, this Thanksgiving movie was played as a short clip that was already an existing movie on a TV, and the director saw it. Well, he made it, but he decided to turn it into this movie, which releases on the 17th, which has a lot of people actually hyped up. As you said, Ron, it is just a small portion of the world that actually celebrates Thanksgiving. But yeah, I think the movie is going to be doing really good in the box office. Normally, horror movies does good. I mean, The Nun 2, I believe, also did good.
It was a sequel to the original. It was The Exorcist. It was also a sequel, and it did really well in the box office compared to its first one. But the problem was the reviews obviously are such controversial with these types of movies, because Rotten Tomatoes, they are very subjective to what horror really is. Because if you look at The Conjuring, for example, it has a 60% on the audience scores, but the what do you call it? The critics only got it a 30%, which is a really bad drop off. The difference is really um, big, which makes it extremely, I would say, controversial. Controversial.
I mean, honestly, just from the first looks from the trailer, it looks, first of all, it looks very captivating. Looks very, it really pulls you in with all the kills, and for people who like, or should I say, enjoy gorier movies. I mean, it is also produced by, I believe, I think, the same director that directed Terrifier. So there is already that gore aspect to it.
This movie will probably be 7.5. I think it's very close to what you said, 8. I didn't think it's 8. I think it's going to be a 7.5 because remember you have to keep the character development and those type of stuff, and if the villain is actually going to be good. So we'll see.
I mean, I'd say for me, it will also be a 7.5, but I'm excited to see how it will do in the box office. It's either going to be a flop or it's going to be a hit. Um, I'm hoping for it to be a hit so that we can maybe get a sequel for more gory kills with this killer. And yeah, 7.5 from me. I think it's gonna be a great movie, unless the critics are gonna do what they do and bomb the movie, which they have been doing lately. I mean, with The Exorcist, the movie, for me personally, I really enjoyed the movie, but it got like a 35% from the critics, and the audience is like 60, 70. So, Halloween!
Halloween.
um which is the obvious one, but yeah, I think for this like movie universe it can be, I mean, it's a slasher, it's just a guy in a costume going around and killing people. So I mean, you can really just take this anywhere. I mean, look at Scream, for example. It's just another slasher killer with a knife, and he's already gotten 7 movies. So yeah, this movie does have a chance of just expanding to wider varieties. I mean, they could do like Halloween. I mean, there's already a Halloween movie titled Halloween with Michael Myers, but they could do Christmas, they could do Easter, they could do anything like that.
East.
I mean, we haven't seen an Easter bunny running around with a knife killing people. I mean, it definitely has potential. So, I mean, even if it's a one-off movie, I mean, we'll see how critics treat it. If they treat it well, I
This
mean,
always
uh,
the
if the critics treat it well, normally when critics treat a movie well, they get a sequel. Obviously, if they don't, the studio doesn't see any purpose in it still being around for them to waste more money on a movie that nobody actually wants to see. But they should actually take a look at the audience reviews and not critics, because they can't say nobody wants to watch the movies if it's only the critics that are giving it a bad score, but the audience is like 80, 90. So that doesn't
no.
really make sense for me.
I completely agree. And at the end of the day, remember, movies are entertainment, and nobody wants to watch a bad movie. So if the movie is really good, it's got my buy. And at the end of the day, that's all we really want is to go to the movies, enjoy ourselves, and watch a movie, popcorn, Thanksgiving. Weird, but you know that's end of the day all we need, but all we want.
Yeah. Okay, so we've all obviously seen Five Nights at Freddy's the movie, and I think with the audience it tasted very well, and with critics, like you all saw again, they didn't really like it, and that left a, I don't know, it left a weird feeling for people who haven't seen the movie yet going to see it, and when they're seeing all of these bad reviews for a movie that fans have been waiting 8 years for, it leaves a sour taste in their mouth, even when they're going into the movie and they just experience it and they're debating should they. Okay, well, cut.
Go watch it or not.
Um, okay. Wel, ek gaan net weer daai debating stuk, so ek gaan net, okay, verstaan nie. Ek gaan net sê weer
Cut.
debating en dan
Cut and
aangaan.
paste. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Debating if they should go see the movie or not. But yeah, what are you guys' opinions on this movie?
I mean, that's a really, really great point on it. I didn't really think about it like that. So yeah, no, that was really good. Um,
Thank you.
when I first watched the movie yesterday, um, can I just say I did not expect that. That was really well done. I mean, I thought it was going to be something like Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. The graphics aren't going to be that good, and but the gore is going to be amazing and stuff like that. But I did not expect that the story is going to be there, that they're going to bring in all the characters. I mean, as a kid, as still I play Five Nights at Freddy. with my friends, and it's really funny. But yeah, so no, I really enjoyed it watching it, and it was really, there was scary parts but not as scary, but it like really kept you on your toes, and the whole time I was like, what happens next, what happens next? It wasn't like, oh no, what's going to happen next? It was more like a, this is so interesting, I want to see more, and I really hope if they're going to make a
Yeah,
FNAF, Five Nights at Freddy 2 or 3 or 4, whatever, because I think they are gonna, I really hope it's going to be the same. It's going to put you on your toes the whole time. And yeah, what do you think about it, Ron?
No, I thought it was really interesting. I think you don't see a lot of, well, recently we've seen a lot of game debut well, we've seen a lot of games thing into movies, such as Uncharted, recently getting a movie. Well, yeah, a
Mm,
year ago got a movie, flopped at the box office. Well, didn't flop, I would say, but didn't did as good
it did
as the
basically
critics would
flop.
say. As well as The Last of Us, which got an HBO show, which actually did really good. And I think The Last of Us actually gave a little bit hope for this movie because it was a game that became an adaptation of a movie. Well,
it was a
which
great show.
I think, yeah, in which I think was the real inspiration for the FNAF movie. And I agree with you, Vion. It was really, you were on your toes the entire time of the movie. I thought it was really good.
Yeah. So where a lot of critics were commenting on it and pointing out the flaws of the movie. Obviously, every movie has its flaws, but the main scene that everybody has been talking about is the scenes in the movie where the animatronics aren't threatening and they're helping the protagonist and they're friendly with the protagonist. Like that scene where they built the fort with Abby.
Mm,
Um, and obviously in the games, as we all know them, they kill. And I think with critics, obviously critics they aren't fans. Fans know the fans gave the movie a great score and they know what to expect. But the critics came in and they just judged it from a critic standpoint. But do any of you guys want to elaborate?
Well, I think the critics look at movies way differently than the fans do. I think the critics would watch a movie and they would go into the movie expecting errors, and pointing out each and every single one of them, as where I, the viewer or enjoyer of the movie of franchise, watch the movie and enjoying the movie, even seeing through those flaws. But the critics don't see through those flaws and they critique all of their things on the all those negatives, as where the fans they just enjoy the movie. Simple and plain as that. And I think if they start doing that more, I think they would the scores would immediately be much higher. I mean, a
Yeah,
30% to 80% ratio is not very good, I would say.
definitely, definitely. I mean, for me, the climax of the whole movie was, it built up the whole time, his stories in his dreams. This kid surrounds him where his brother Garrett gets taken away, and the whole time it's like, what happens next, what happens next? And then finally you see what happens next, and this kid, which later on you learn is one of the animatronics, but if you played the games you probably knew that already. um when he walks away, you see in the ground there was written, well, drawn, the golden bunny. I don't want to talk about the golden bunny now, but yeah, the bunny was for me quite yeah, the villain was quite a highlight of the whole movie. Um
yeah.
yeah.
So the golden bunny, his name is actually Springtrap, and I think how they incorporated him, especially with the twist that they bring in, I think they executed that very great. I don't think I would have changed anything about that. But also, this movie was really beautifully shot with the budget that it had. I think they did an amazing job. I mean, Blumhouse is famous for making low budget movies, and it made um like quadruple its budget back in the box office, which is really just amazing. I really enjoyed this movie. What do you guys give it out of 10?
Well, my initial thoughts when I watched the movie was I went into the movie. I was a critic myself. So I went into the movie and I was expecting flaws because, as you said, the studio who was producing the movie, I thought can't be that good. But then while I was watching this entire movie, I thought, damn, it was really well executed. And for that, just for
Hmm.
blowing my mind, I'm gonna give it a 7.
I mean,
Yeah, that's respectable.
let's just give a moment for the actors. I mean, when I saw the teaser trailers and all that stuff, I was like, nah. I mean, they're gonna make this great game into a bad movie. The actor's gonna be bad. The graphics. I mean, there was times that the graphics weren't that well. Like the time the security guard and Abby and they all like Abby got captured by the animatronics and he poured water and he shocked them. The shock. I mean, that didn't look so well, but away from that, the acting was really surprising. It was really well. I mean, it really looked as if they knew how to do their jobs, and it didn't look anything stage or anything. So yeah, it really looked well, and for that, I'm gonna give it definitely a 9 out of 10. I thought it was really great.
9, wow, okay.
Um, um, when I sat down and I watched the movie for the first time, I feel like the intro was really captivating and it really drew you into it. From the security guard running away from the animatronics and he
Mm.
gets put into this saw like trap with uh the blades in the Freddy's head going towards him, and he almost escaped, but obviously he didn't, and that was the opening kill.
Honestly,
It
that
was,
gave me saw the movie vibes like all over. When I saw that, I was like, this is gonna be good, and then I knew.
yeah. So obviously the actors from the teaser trailers and all of that, they didn't look the best, but I think we all were just pleasantly surprised by their performance
Mm.
from this movie. As well, just like Ruan said before, video game adaptations don't have the best reputation in Hollywood. I mean, every time that we get a new announcement that we're getting a video game adaptation into, well, live action, I mean, a couple of days ago, a Zelda movie was announced, and everybody is like hating on it now. Obviously, because it doesn't have the best reputation in Hollywood, but I think FNAF has potential to be the stepping stones into a new direction for, as well as The Last of Us. I think that also cleared the path for us. But for me personally, I think we're gonna give it a 8 out of 10. Really
That's
great
really
movie.
good.
It
Yeah.
really surprised us all, I think. And yeah, I can't wait for Five Nights at Freddy 2 and 3 because in a interview with Matthew Lillard, he accidentally revealed that they are going to be filming FNAF 2 in a couple of weeks, and then FNAF 3 is also on the way. So yeah,
Um,
a lot of great
some
stuff in the future. So great.
Something that especially surprised me, which I thought was a cool little thing, is I saw Matt Bat in the movie doing a little cameo, which I
Yeah,
thought was really interesting of him to do, which just boosted his spirit, which made the entire movie feel a little bit more high budget. Seeing the film first there, the game first, was really cool to see as well.
yeah. He even said his little line that he says
Mm.
in every video of his, but also it's actually there was a couple of YouTubers that went famous on the game that have been featured in the movie. Like I
Mm.
can't remember the YouTuber's name, but the cab driver when
Yeah, I'm
Freddy
pretty familiar.
and Abby gets. That's also a YouTuber, which is
I
great. But
saw
I
that.
think
Yeah.
the biggest YouTuber that um, was went famous because of Freddy Five Nights at Freddy's was Markiplier, but
Oh,
he wasn't
Markiplier.
in the movie, and that was because of scheduling conflict because he's making his own movie, The Iron Lung. So scheduling everything conflicted. But there are rumors that he's definitely going to be in Five Nights at Freddy's 2. So, yeah, maybe he's the opening kill. We'll never
Maybe
know.
we see more cameos like this. I think cameos are freaking amazing. I think cameos should be do more often. I love a cameo. Seeing someone I know on a live action movie is pretty cool.
Yeah, especially like in this is a lesser known cameo, but in Uncharted, when the
Yeah,
girl and the guy, the two main characters, jump out of the plane, and when they get washed up on the beach, they walk past the voice actors of the protagonists in the game, which is really cool actually. And it's
yeah,
just those subtle things
yeah.
that make the movie better for fans, because if you're a fan of the game and you see those things, you just instantly get like a feeling of nostalgia, and that's always just great.
I did not know that. That's the first time I've heard of that. Now I'm gonna
Yeah.
definitely go and check that movie again. Yeah, I can't wait. I hope you're not already screaming for Scream 7 because it's gonna be a while, but it's gonna be a great one. I can't wait for Scream 7. It's gonna be a really good one. Me as a Scream lover, like I started 2 3 years back. I know it's not as long back, but yeah, it's a really, really, really great series. I mean, the sequels is brilliant. Sydney, every time she comes back, it's just brilliant. I mean, the actors, Jenna Ortega, all the actors, the new actors, they're all brilliant. The way that it keeps you on the toes, the way you keep moving the whole time, you're like, oh no, the ghost's face is gonna get me. You know, the whole time it's brilliant. I love Scream. It's definitely my number one horror movie, 100%. The like everything, the way you and your friends want to figure out who's gonna get killed next, who's the killer. The whole time you're like, is it him? No, it's not him. Is it him? Is it no her me man? You don't know. I mean, brilliant. What do you guys think?
So with Scream 7, there is some controversy because Radio Silence, that directed Scream 5 and 6, dropped out to pursue another movie. So there are new directors. I don't really know their movie track record, if they're any good or bad, but yeah, it's kind of sad to see Radio Silence go, because I mean, Scream 5 was, it wasn't the best movie in the franchise, but I wouldn't put it last. I think I would, in my ranking, it's three, like from last. It would be three, four, and then five. So it's definitely not last. And then Scream 6 was a really great movie. So it's sad to see Radio Silence go with everything that they've done for Scream 5 and 6.
But you have to remember the writer of Scream 1 to 4 unfortunately passed away. And I mean,
Yeah,
the replacement was really well for Scream 5 and 6, and it's really sad to see him just go like that because the other writer was really committed and he unfortunately passed away. And this one, after his two great movies, 5 and 6, it wasn't the best, but I mean, it was still really great. I mean, 6 was really brilliant, like where it was in apartments and it wasn't the usual spot and everything. So it really was brilliant. And it's sad to see him go because I don't think how the new writers is going to do it and producers, and I'm quite stressed actually because it's my favorite horror series. So yeah, that's gonna be pretty
yeah.
stressful.
So Wes Craven is the original writer and creator of Scream, which sadly passed away in 2011, I think, after the release of Scream 4. He also like directed many classic horror movies like Nightmare on Elm Street. He made the first few movies, which are the best movies in this franchise. But it is really sad when he passed away, because it was his creation and it was his passion project to make these movies.
Hmm.
I mean, Scream 1 to 3 were really great movies. Not one of them were particularly bad, just obviously one of them are downgraded movies in the franchise.
What do you
But
say?
Ek was so sorry, Katko,
Ek
wat ek
tog
kon nie hoor wat jy sê nie.
nee, ek tog jy's klaar gepraat en wil ek sê what do you say Ron? En ja,
So,
dis jy
sorry
nee,
as ek
dis
so
ek
pas
soos
gepraat nie. Ek wil sê van ek wil net tog een ding sê.
go
Okay,
for
okay.
it. Kat
And
Okay.
en begin.
Yeah, so I also think another great thing that they did with Scream 6 was the change of scenery all the way from Westboro. I can't
Mm.
remember the town's name, but all the way to New York. I think that was a great transition, and everything that they did in New York, like with the train scenes and the parks and everything, was really great, and it was really refreshing because we never really see these characters outside of their hometown or just a college somewhere else in the world. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what they do with Scream 7 because Scream 7 has reportedly been it has already begun filming without Jenna Ortega. She's still gonna be involved in the film. Just she's been really busy with a unicorn movie with Paul Rudd where they kill a unicorn and they have to make a decision if they want to save the world or get cash. I don't even know.
That's gonna
And
be funny, I
Beetle,
think.
yeah, and Beetlejuice 2, which has begun filming again, which is also really busy with. So I really hope she's gonna be in Scream 7. But yeah, Scream 7's also gonna be a Christmas movie. It's gonna be Christmas and it's gonna be I think definitely a scene that they're gonna add is where they investigate Ghostface, and they're gonna do a shot of the snow, and then his boot is gonna be in there. I think that's very predictably
Yeah, that's gonna
predictable.
be good, I think. What do you say, Ron?
Ron,
well, I'm not as big as a fan of the Scream series as you two. I've watched I watched five. I've seen some of six. I just fell asleep watching it. Not that it's bad. I just watched it late at night. But I have the Rotten Tomatoes scores here, and it's very interesting. I didn't think it was this good. The critics the critics voted it 76%, which I thought was very good, and the audience was 91%, which was really good. So I'm actually now I'm motivated to go see the entire film. But I've never hated the Scream series. I always thought it was pretty fun and a little bit of gore, but I'm more a fan of the Halloween series in my opinion and those types of things. But Scream's still a fun and entertaining series to watch. Nothing bad to say about that.
yeah, it was also when it was first released in the early 90s. I think the reason why it went so big is because prior to that, there wasn't a really big slasher movie. The Ghostface was really one of its kind when it was released, as well as that made Courtney Cox really that was like her debut, and that's what sent her up to the stars of Friends, which is actually like just that stepping stones. But yeah, this Scream 7, even though it's gonna have some problems along the way, I mean, we may lose a actor, which is Jenna Ortega. I do think she's gonna be in Scream 7. I don't think she'll have a as big as a role as what she had in Scream 5 and 6. I mean, Sydney is still not coming back because they haven't figured out her pay yet. I mean, the reason why she wasn't in Scream 6 is because they didn't want to pay her enough money. And she kept pushing for more and more, and they kept saying they weren't going to give her more money. And that's why she's off in another country with her husband in Scream 6. But yeah, Scream 7 looks like hopefully a great movie. We haven't really gotten a lot of leaks because the writers and actors strike has just ended. So yeah, really
I think
probably one of my most anticipated movies of 2024/2025.
I think Jenna Ortega is gonna have a small part in the movie. Like the news reporter always comes in at the end and saves the day or helps saves the day or whatever, just randomly comes in. I mean, in season 6 was a bit dumb. She didn't see Ghostface, but he was like standing right there. But you could truly see him. But I'm not going to go into that. That irritated me. But yeah, I think Jenna Ortega is just gonna come out, be like, guys, I'm here for you. Kill him, go home.
She's died a few times.
Yeah, get stabbed and cry again and say, no, I'm never coming back. And then the next movie, she's back at it again. Ta, 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 the whole time. So, yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
And I'm going to rate this movie what I think it's going to be.
Well, like from hype.
Yeah, from
Rate your hype
hype,
for the movie.
my hype on the movie is going to have to be a 7. And at my last ratings, it's really dropped. But yeah, I don't have such big hopes for the new riders and everything. And you, Ron?
Right.
Well, if a movie can make Scream 6 was released this year on 10th March and grossed box office of $170 million. I think the seventh one out of the series, I think it's gonna do pretty good. I think it's gonna do probably about 8. I think it's gonna be good. I have a feeling. I have a feeling.
Yeah, so I think my hype levels for it is about 8 at the moment. Obviously, I don't have that high hopes for the new writers and the new directors. I mean, like I said, I really loved what Radio Silence did for the franchise, or well, at least for Scream 5 and 6. So it really sucks that that they had to leave the project. But yeah, I'm still happy for them. They're moving on to a bigger project. But yeah, I'm really excited for Scream 7. Like Ron said, I think Scream 6 was the highest Scream movie that has grossed over the years. So
I,
if Scream 7 continues with this, I think it will be an amazing movie.
Definitely.
I have the stats right in front of me here. On production budget was 33 to 35 million dollars with an ROI investment of 170 million. That's more than 150 million profit. And as
Yeah.
I'm reading here, it's the most profitable Scream movie so far. So I think the next one's gonna do 8. I really think it's gonna do good.
Yeah, really excited.
Blood and Honey 2. For me, I think it's gonna do a lot better. I mean, the budget is way higher. I think the actors is gonna be a bit better. I mean, I think because it's masked, the actors Winnie the Pooh and stuff is masked. I think they might get new actors, which is gonna make Winnie the Pooh a better. Well, Blood and Honey is gonna make it a better movie, and I think, and I truly hope that they're going to use the money that they have and make it a little better, give it more better graphics, and get better actors because
Better
the
production quality.
100% because the first one did not really have that good production quality and value. I mean, if you look at the first one, there's scenes that I was like, you should be scared from. Really, you should, if you watch this at night in the dark, you should be scared. But I sat there and I was like, this is just gore. It's just fake blood. You can literally see the fake blood. And after seeing some concept trailers and teaser trailers and stuff that has been posted on YouTube about Blood and Honey 2, I have to say I think it's going to be a lot better. And I have to say that I think it's going to be not too bad. I think it might even be close to top 20 maybe because the last time it was like top 50 or
Yeah.
under that. I think it might even maybe make top 20 or just not make it because the budget's higher. I really hope it do because they can make Winnie the Pooh a really really good franchise, but they didn't use their first assets because the budget was too low, but now they have a bigger budget, so I really hope they're going to use it.
Yeah, so actually the company that made Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey is famous for just making these very dumb, low budget parody movies. I mean, they made a Grinch horror movie called The Mean One. They're making a Bambi horror movie. I mean, like everything that's going into open domain is gonna get turned into a horror movie by these guys.
Almost like Hallmark.
Um,
I don't know if you've ever seen Hallmark movies. That stuff is so fake. I mean, the acting. But yeah, go on.
yeah. So obviously, like I said, the studio that is producing these movies are making this on like really small budgets. And surprisingly, Winnie the Pooh 1 or Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 1 did really great, and it pushed up the production cost so that this movie can be even better. I mean, in the first movie, you could literally just tell it's two guys with masks on their head. But if you take a look at the set photos that they've released, you can definitely see that they're trying to hide it and
Mm.
just to make it just to lean it more into the supernatural end of it
You can see the hair
and
on
just
them.
making it. Yeah, yeah, definitely. There are also new characters. I think Digger is in here, as well as a unknown owl character, which is also one of the leaked photos. I think it's gonna try to battle Winnie the Pooh, but obviously, if we're taking a look at one of the other set photos, he's sitting on a like chair, and he's you can definitely tell that they put a lot of work into the masks because it looks 100 times better than it always did. And we also see a picture from a flashback, a younger Winnie the Pooh, which is like staring like through glass with blood on his hands. So I think that's gonna be like a flashback to when um what's his name? The kid.
Christopher Robin.
Yeah, Christopher Robin leaves him, and yeah, I'm not really too sure how that goes, but it looks really interesting. Well, what do you have to say?
Well, right in front of me here, I have the critics. They did a little the thing before of each Rotten Tomatoes thing. They have a critics or general sum up of what they think of the movie, and I have it right here. Usually, it's a broadened out, very deep in perspective, like type
Yeah.
of thing. Here, it just says, "Oh, brother," um, which
Oh,
I think was
brother.
a bit
Yeah.
harsh. I didn't think it was that bad. I mean,
Um.
nowadays, if you look at movies that have hundreds of millions of dollars for budget, and it still comes out as a flop for $100,000 movie, it's pretty damn good. I mean,
Yeah. Definitely.
there's nothing much to say about it. I think quality of Winnie the Pooh himself was not very good. I thought the entire time it was a dude in a mask, but then later realized it was supposed to be some sort of entity type of thing. And now
Yeah.
it's
Well.
good to see.
I mean,
Uh,
sorry. Believe me when I say it's not that bad because my mother watched the weirdest of stuff, and I mean weird. She'd be sitting at the in the living room, and she'd be watching this turkey type stuff, right? And then it's like this actress is like, "Oh, Johnny, don't leave me." It's so bad. And movies like Hallmark, I mean, I don't know how she enjoys it, but it's like, Johnny, I fell in love with you. Don't leave me. And then they just cut to the next scene. I mean, there's no effort even put into it. I mean, Blood and Honey has way more effort, and their budget is way lower. I mean, next one is gonna be. It has to be brilliant. It has to be way better.
mm, I think, yeah, I
Yeah.
hope they take those money. And I think if the story is going to be better, like the plot and stuff, I think automatically the movie will do better because they have the money for the writers, for everything. They can boost the production quality. I think the sequel will be probably the top 10 movie. If everything goes to plan as they wanted, it will be a top 10 movie. I guarantee it.
Yeah. So obviously they intended Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 1 to obviously be a horror movie, but when me and Vion sat down to watch it, there were so many scenes that we just couldn't stop laughing, especially when they gave Winnie the Pooh supernatural abilities and he can control honeybees. What's up with that? And the CGI is so bad. It's yeah.
Yeah, because
Obviously, I feel a lot of people that were watching this movie also just couldn't contain their laugh, as well as just the acting in this movie couldn't be any worse. This is
getting Z list actors doing these types of roles are not
Mm.
the best.
And for that, I'm gonna rate Blood and Honey 1. I'm gonna rate it a 4. But for Blood and
Or
Honey 2, my expectations and my
generous.
hype is gonna be about a 6.5.
I agree, that's
Okay.
valid.
Um, my rating for Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 1 is gonna be a 3.
3.
And my listen, it was a very if we actually take in the facts of the movie, it wasn't good. The CGI was bad. You could definitely just see it was everything was just not really good, and the production was bad. The actors were bad. So obviously that makes up for my answer for that. And my rating or my hype level for number two is gonna be a 4.5. I mean,
Well,
obviously, I think the movie is gonna be a lot better, but I don't know. I'll see it. I'll take a look at it, and hopefully, I really hope it proves me wrong, and being
Mm.
like a 6, 7,
Yeah.
which honestly I don't think it will be, but I'm prepared to be surprised, and I hope I will be.
What about you,
well,
Ron?
the critics voted this movie a 3 out of 100, but I don't think it was that bad. I honestly, it wasn't. If if I compare it to a movie such as Halloween, which I think this was supposed to be same slasher type of movie thing,
Definitely.
you laugh in this movie. I agree with you both. It's a laughable movie, so it's enjoyable, but not the way it was intended. You
Yeah,
understand what
you
I'm saying?
laugh at
So,
how bad it is.
mm,
Mm.
now only for that, I'm gonna give it the highest. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10.
Oh, out of 10.
Generous.
Almost thought you said 100. I was like, whoa, bro. No, that's pretty good.
The Halloween series has produced 12 movies now, featuring the last one made last year called Halloween Ends. Now, personally, I thought the movie was really bad. And that's coming from a person who really enjoyed Halloween Kills. And it was really just sad to see Michael Myers being a side character in his own story. Who would like to elaborate on that?
I mean,
Definitely.
when I saw Halloween Kills, I was like, it's really good. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Halloween, like the whole franchise, but when I saw it, it wasn't too bad. And like Halloween 2018, it wasn't too bad. And when I watched Halloween Ends with one of my friends, I was like, what is that? And I fell asleep halfway through the movie, and I woke up the last bit. I was like, what just happened? He just started stabbing people. I was like, what's happening? And my friend is really bad at choosing movies that's good. I mean, he would watch a Hallmark movie and he would be like, guys, absolutely fantastic, fantastic. Put it up there. Put it up there.
Fabulous. Fabulous.
Fabulous, just like that. And I mean, he was like, yeah, that was pretty good, guys. We have to watch it again, exactly like that. And I was like, bro, nah. And the rest were with me. It wasn't good. Like Halloween Ends, it came from this big movie. Well, not too big, but it was really well done, and it just dropped all the way down. It wasn't that well.
Very
I think
anticlimactic.
yeah,
Mm.
I think the beginning of the movie, especially the beginning kill where um the the Whoa, sorry. The babysitter is babysitting the kid. Oh, it's gelijk daai gehoor doen. Ek sorry. Ek kan nie.
Nee, skiet. Ek moet hierdie edit.
Shut up, Ron.
Jy moet net goeters uithaal. Jy hoef niks verder te doen nie. Ek doen nie transitions.
As hierdie ding 'n uur en 'n half is, moet ek deur 'n uur en 'n half se footage kyk.
Ja, go for it.
As jy regtig wil klaar dan sal ek dit doen.
Nee, is okay. Ek kan dit vinnig
Wat
doen.
van julle doen video een video ander doen die ander nou gaan ons aan.
Nee, maar my ding gaan 'n miljoen jaar vat om nee, ons kan dit so doen. So. Anyway, okay.
En
Wie
3
ans
2 1.
okay. Yeah, I'll elaborate on that. So, I really think that the opening kill was really good and it set up the movie really well. Obviously, the movie didn't deliver on that. But the beginning of the movie, I think, was really well written. But when it started switching over to Michael Myers being a side character and this random kid that we've never seen in the franchise starting to beat up Michael Myers in the sewers.
I thought, yeah, as well. I thought it was really disappointing to see because Michael Myers is such a big name and nobody could have stopped him. And then this little kid, no character development, and everything just comes and he suddenly beats him. It's really sad to see.
100%. Yeah, I mean, for those who watch Halloween Kills, it was really the expectations was big, and it did not deliver at all on what came through. Yeah, it's almost like Pennywise getting bullied is his weakness. It's like a little kid can beat up Michael Myers is his weakness, which is really no one. I mean, it is the other point. If you look from other points of perspective, like no one would expect that a kid would do that because that's his actual weakness, but nobody would do it because nobody expects that. Then you would maybe think, ah, it's not too bad, but it still isn't that great either. So yeah.
Yeah, but the point of this discussion isn't even about Halloween ends, and we're already elaborating so much on that. But the point of this discussion is after we just got a movie last year in the new rebooted series, we're already getting a new reboot. So
Mm.
the rights of sorry, ek hoor myself twee keer.
Praat
Hallo?
Wie handling hy sharp.
Hy klink fyn vir my. Hy pop ook nie op dat iemand anders praat nie. So dis nie 'n echo
So ek
nie.
dink dit maar net jy.
Okay, sharp, ek weet nie, dalk is hy net oor van ek.
Dalk.
Anyway, okay. Wat was ek? Okay, wait. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and go. So after the series just got rebooted last year, we're already getting a new reboot, which is gonna be in the form of a television show. So the rights of Michael Myers and the Halloween franchise has been bought by A24. Now, A24 lately has been making a really big comeback. I mean, they've had their recent hit, which was Talk to Me. I don't know if any one of you have seen that movie, but really good. It's getting a sequel now because it did so good. But they're taking on the role of this new series, and in my opinion, I don't really enjoy that much because they're taking the most boring Michael Myers movie and they're turning it into a series. Now we've
Mm.
seen Halloween Ends, where Michael Myers was a um, side character. In the movie that they're rebooting into a series, Michael Myers isn't even in it. It's a Halloween movie with the title Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, but but Michael Myers isn't anywhere in it. It's just a normal Halloween movie, which is the dumbest thing ever to me. And now they want to make an entire series about it. Do you, anyone one of you want to elaborate on that?
We're seeing a lot of um this new format of consuming these types of things. Disney has been doing it for 2 years now where they're turning what could have been movies into series, which I
Yeah.
think is a really dumb way to consume it. And I agree with you completely. This, I think it's really stupid the way they're doing it at the moment. The, the entire thing that made the Halloween series such a hit was the small aspects about it, and now they're changing the format of what they're doing it. And I'm finding it really upsetting because I'm really a fan of the Halloween series. And
Yeah,
I
yeah, the Friday the 13th series is a slasher horror series that main stars Jason. Jason is a psychotic serial killer, almost similar to Michael Myers in the Halloween series. And it was recently announced he was going to get a series, but the plot twist of the series is he's not going to be in it. Well, at least not his name, neither his iconic ski mask, or even the weapon he's going to use. Which, in my opinion, sucks because what's the point? But it's okay because we're going to have the lake where he supposedly lives. That's pretty much it.
yeah. So I'm just gonna elaborate a little bit on that. So the copyright owners of Jason and his entire franchise passed away, and his family didn't want to sell his rights to any studio. So they finally came to an agreement that the family is gonna take all the rights, but they're gonna give, I think, Universal, or no, they're gonna give A24, which is producing the new Halloween series. They're gonna give him his mother, Jason before he dies, and the lake, which is the most pointless thing on earth. It's the same thing as Halloween. You're just taking small aspects of it, and you're not even adding the main attraction, which is the
Yeah,
killer.
that's true. Yeah, I don't think there's gonna be such big hypes for the new reboot. I mean, they don't even have all of the stuff and the necessities. Um,
Yeah, so the
sorry.
main,
Um,
it's again.
God. Sorry, toe ek praat toe begin my hele screen soos buffer. So ek
Yeah,
wil nie daai
my network.
ek gaan gou daai sien oordoen. Jy het klaar gepraat toe begin dit eers buffer. Waarmee het ek begin? Ek het begin met
Begin net iets niets, fine.
ja, okay, okay, get it. Okay. Future one, edit daai deel uit.
Ja.
3 2 1. Yeah, I don't think the new reboot is going to be that great. I mean, they don't even have all of the files, all of the documents and the rights to well have all of the old Jason and to keep all of the stuff. So I don't think it's going to be that brilliant. I don't watch Jason as much as a lot of people, but the movies that have watched and the parts that I have seen and the news I've seen about the reboot and stuff, yeah, I don't think it's going to be brilliant, but that's just my point of view. So yeah, what do you guys think? To elaborate.
Um, so the main focus point of this series is basically gonna be a prologue. I think that's what you call it. It's gonna be Jason's origin story. So his mother is gonna be the main character, and then I think Jason is gonna be a little boy, and he's gonna drown, and his mother is gonna be like depressed and all of that. So that could actually be really good. I mean, if you watch this first and then you watch the 11 Jason movies that they already have been released, I mean, it could just be a great wraparound. But it's
Mm,
also, like I said, for me, I don't, I mean, A24 as a studio isn't that bad. They've released a few great movies, they've also released a lot of bad movies. So I'm not sure in my opinion, they're either gonna flop Halloween, or they're gonna flop this, or they're gonna flop both. And
Yeah.
giving what they're doing with both of these franchises, yeah, for me, in my opinion, it's for me. I just think it'd be better if they just make a entire new property.
100%. And what do you guys think about the new name, Crystal Lake?
Yeah, so obviously that's the title of the lake, so
Oh
of
yeah.
the camp, and obviously they're not allowed to call it the original name, which is Friday the 13th, which is also it's just if you see that name in theaters or leaks, it's just so great. Not a lot of people recognize Camp Crystal Lake unless you're a fan.
Mm.
I think the biggest problem is going to be people who the newer generation that's not as quite familiar with the Friday the 13th series, and they're going to watch this new type of, well, it's this new series type of thing, and they're not going to understand what's going on, or most people are not going to recognize it and not going to watch it. So I have a feeling this movie is not going to be very successful. I think this movie is going to fail every possible way imaginable. I think marketing will be down. I think,
What do
well,
you guys
if
think
it's going
will
to
the
be,
rating be?
I think it's going to be
Low,
20% on Rotten
low.
Tomatoes, critics and
I
audience. I think
I think it's
audience
gonna
isn't
bomb.
going to enjoy this.
Obviously, a lot of studios are focusing more on its television shows like Marvel, and obviously A24 is also now switching over to television shows and giving us these mediocre type of
Mm.
films, not films, shows, which at this point, if you don't have the main character, if you have 10% of the property, what's the point? Why don't you
Yeah,
just make your own separate movie or series? So in my opinion, I think it's gonna bomb. I think it's gonna be between 10-30%. My expectations are not that high. I wish it was, but unfortunately for me, I think it's gonna be between 10 and 30%.
I think it's gonna be like 3 out of 10, and like you said, Brandon, 30%, 100% with that. I think it's gonna be 30%, so 30 out of 100, and yeah, might even be 2.5, 25. I'm not sure. I don't
Yeah,
really think it's gonna be big.
There's nothing that saddens me more than to see a franchise or series that was really once an icon of pop culture
Mm.
turn into something that is frowned upon or disgraced against. So
yeah. I mean,
it's really, yeah, just sad to see.
that's what's happening with Marvel right now.
Mm.
It's
Yeah.
really plummeting, and I don't know if you guys have seen the leaks, but they they've had a meeting with Robert Downey Jr. to bring him back because Marvel is just flopping, and that's what's happening with a lot of these iconic properties and franchises because they can't think of their own ideas, so they're just bringing back fan favorites, and then
Mm.
they ruin it for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, they can't bring Robert Downey Jr. back after he's dead. What is he gonna be? A ghost or a hologram? It's not Star Wars, you know. You can't just bring people back. And yeah, Marvel's really going down. I mean, they have to step up. I mean, there's so much comics about people that and superheroes that they've never used, which they can use and make new movies or new stuff about, and they just don't use it. You know, they should really try and use that more often, and they're just messing it up. In begin Marwan.
I think movies as a whole these days are more focused or centered around being, I wouldn't even say entertaining. I think just clickable, like as in a YouTube
Mm.
thumbnail. I think it's all it is. It's stop. They stop making movies to make for entertainment purposes to make a really enjoyable film. Instead, they're looking at the numbers and the money, and if it doesn't, and they started focusing their all their attention on what's the profit, what can I make of this movie or series, and it's really sad to see because movies were once great. You came to a movie and there was a time where there weren't bad movies, but now
Yeah,
it's really sad to see. What are your guys'
definitely.
final thoughts?
Yeah, mine stays the same. 3 out of 10. You, Brandon?
Yeah, honestly. I think we've all made very valid points on why we think studios just should leave the properties to rest. And I mean, they just keep bringing it back, and every time that they bring these franchises back, they ruin it every time a little bit more and more, until a point where they're gonna bring it back and nobody's gonna pay attention, nobody's gonna care. And I think this is leading up to that, because I mean, they're bringing it back, but they have 10% of the franchise. They have 10% of make what makes Jason and the Friday the 13th. Well, I can't even words any, sorry. Friday the 13th, a series so iconic. So they're just ruining it step by step.
Okay, and boom.
Ja,
Okay.
excuse me, neem me daar eerder.
Uh, okay, begin maar.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, and go. So we've taken a look at franchises being brought back and exploring other aspects of it, like its origins, and that's exactly what's happening to the It franchise, with its new series being developed by HBO Max called Welcome to Derry. Does anybody want to elaborate on what's happening with that right now?
Yeah. When I was 12 years old, I first saw Pennywise. It number one, not the old 1980 whatever one, the 2017 one. And I was, first of all, I was scared. Like I couldn't sleep for a week. Like every
Like we
night I was
all
like,
were.
yeah, every night I was like, is that a balloon? Is that a balloon? Is that a balloon? But it wasn't. And a year passed, and I started loving horror movies, and that's why I'm so psyched about all of the horror movies we are talking about. I saw I saw a lot more horror movies, and when It 2 came out, I was really stoked. I watched it; it was brilliant, and I watched the other It's also over and over again. I mean, even the 1900s one, not the best, but yeah. And to see that a show is coming out about its origins, I have to say my hypes aren't that big, but it's not low, and I'm quite excited. I'm gonna say, yeah, I'm quite excited, but I'm not. My expectations is not going to be that big because it is a show and it's a lot more editing and focusing and all of that stuff. So I think it's going to be like, yeah, it's going to be good, but it's not going to be like super huge, you know.
Yeah,
I
so you can talk.
uh, I personally think I was in love. I was also about 12 or 13 year old when I saw it the first time, and it scared me to death as well. I thought it was the scariest thing I've ever saw. I mean, if you talked about it when I was 12 years old, when we were 12 years old, it was like the scariest thing imaginable. If you talked about it, you
100%.
just imagine the balloon and his face in the drain. And Georgie, it was really well put together, and this is the one of many series which I'm actually excited to see, which is really weird because I despise move supposed to be movies turning into series, but yeah, I'm excited to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, what are your
Yeah, so
rates about this one?
um for me and like a lot of other like fans of the series are actually really excited for this and its take on, I mean, we've seen Pennywise in the 1990 something version. We've seen him in 2017 and 2019, but that's just been in like one timeline. We've
Mm,
never seen him. We've only seen him when he's already developed and already haunting kids. We've never seen how he got there, his true origin, and everything
and why?
about that. So yeah, and why he does what he does, and why he can be defeated by being bullied. But yeah, I think I'm really excited for this. A lot of fans are excited for this, so I'm gonna give my hype for this a 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm give my hype for this is gonna be a 7.5. Um, and my
Solid.
expectations is gonna be an 8. What about you, Ron?
Yeah, think I think I'm gonna go a little bit lower than you both. I'm gonna give it about a 7. I think it's gonna be interesting to see, but at the end of the day, it's still a series which I I'm not a big fan of. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And thank you guys for watching our very first episode. This was your host, Cooper the Dog.
Movie Maniac.
And Mystic Plays.
Please leave a like down below and subscribe.